Like they got married.
Hey guys, hold on 1 second.
Hey y'all.
Hey guys, I can see everybody's getting on here. It says Christian. I guess my son has been on my stuff for homeschool, so we'll just leave it at that. I also have us streaming into our Facebook page for those who don't have Zoom. The reason that we are not having a hot seat tonight is because we wanted to talk to you guys about your mindset, and we wanted to talk to you guys about perspective. And all of us, you know, are going through stuff, but the thing is we're in it together, and we're gonna, you know, take questions, or if you guys have concerns or if you have anything you want to ask us, you know, we're gonna be here. But I want to start out first. I don't know. Okay, there's Sharon. There's Andrea. I'm not sure who's gonna be on here, but anyway, I want to start out first by telling you about our challenge. A lot of people are asking about the challenge. First of all, I want to explain to you guys what a blessing it is that we are part of Scentsy, and the fact that it's been qualified as an essential business. It's a really big deal because really the economy needs people and businesses like this in order for the economy not to fold up on us. They need us to work. So one thing today that I took from Online Steps with Allison, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, I know we streamed it into our group, was she was talking about perspective, and she was talking about serving people and how to sell during this time. Because a lot of people are like, well, I'm not working, so I'm just waiting for the government to give a stimulus check to me. Well, this is like one of the biggest things that's ever happened in history. This is going to go down in history. We're going to be able to tell our kids and their kids and so on. I mean, we are part of something that I believe God created us all for. You've been, you know, what is it, created for this time or something. I think Proverbs has that. And us having a culture and a community of positivity, perspective, helping each other when we get down is very important. And I'm gonna be vulnerable. And I was telling, you know, Andrea and Sharon earlier on here, I have had times where I have just spiraled and gotten in the bed in a fetal position because I'm like, oh my gosh, because I am not a control freak. Anyone who knows me knows my life is as chaotic as it comes. They know that I roll with the flow. I'm very laid back. I don't get mad easily, and I don't have to control certain things. But the fact that I can't control just even the little things that make me happy really started to bother me. And so being vulnerable with you guys, like we talked about last week, was that it scared me. It scared me to death. And so I have to plug into positivity. I have to plug into, you know, trainings on how to get my brain to turn off the negative. I had to unfriend a lot of people on Facebook because I don't want to see their feed anymore if I'm going to go onto Facebook. I had to tell my people to quit sending me things because I have to protect myself. I have to protect my mind. So the fact that we can still serve our customers through this is a really big deal. Maybe you're working out of your house. Maybe you don't even work right now because they put you on a leave. Really dive into what Scentsy can do for you, for what Scentsy can do for your family, for the income that maybe you've been missing out on because you've been so busy in other areas. Now you have time to do. So that is something we wanted to talk about today, was kind of checking in with you to find out where you are, to talk about different perspectives, to tell you about our challenges. So, and there's also a chat on here if you guys have questions or if you want to ask anything. And we're also on Facebook too. So I'm trying to watch, and Sharon or somebody can watch too and see if anybody comments. But the challenge in April, let me tell you about it really quickly. A lot of SSDs came together and came up with this challenge because Scentsy does everything for us. I'm not kidding you. If there's an incentive trip that is missing, they will make it up to you somehow with cash or another trip. If there is an that happened in your account, they will fix it as long as, you know, they know that they were pretty much at fault. They have done things for me. They have done things for people on our team. They have done things for people that I know of that are just incredibly kind, and they always make it right every time. When we back ordered out of Jack, not Jack Skeleton, but the Pumpkin Jack back in 2010, and everybody flipped out, they were sending an extra warmer with the Jack. Then it happened again with the Chasing Fireflies. And then it happened again whenever we had the strike with all the shipyards. They always made it right. So it's our time to help them. It's our time to show them how much we care about them, how much we care that they are still paying us. I mean, did you hear Orville and Heidi talking about the fact that they're going to be fine? They don't have a lot of debt in the company, so they're not too worried about things, but they're going to keep things going. We have to have the orders in order for distribution to work. We have to have the orders in order for, you know, manufacturing to work. We have to have the orders in order for customer service to help us. We have to show up. It's like imperative, important. So we came up with this April challenge, or I said a lot of people came up with this April challenge, to where they're just giving ideas every day on how you can get PRV during the month of April. If we could get 130,000 consultants just to put in $200, it would make the biggest difference in the world. Because normally 20% only do 80% of the work. So we're asking you to show up like you've never shown up before. If you already sell 500, then go for 700. If you already sell 1,000, then go for 1,200. Push yourself to do that extra 200 that you usually do not do. And there's going to be a graphic on there Andrea made with boxing gloves. As soon as you're active, you know, you can post under there, but the active in April challenge, it's like a military picture that you can take a picture of it and put your picture beside it, whatever. We want to know you're active because we're going to do something super special for you guys. And it's really important. And so it's not necessarily a challenge daily to do the things that we post. The challenge is just to be active in April, okay? But all of our directors have come up with something every day to help you with your mindset, with your emotional state, even with working your business, just to keep you grounded, because it's so important right now, especially, that we have those things to go to. You know, we're going to talk tonight about some perspectives and being able to see, you know, the bigger picture. But if it wasn't for these trainings, if it wasn't for the books, if it wasn't for the Bible studies, if it wasn't for people and mentors I've had in my life, I think I would be an absolute wreck, because this is a scary time. It truly is. You know, we're trying to keep our kids sheltered from things. We're trying to do all the things and not let in the negative, but it's there, and it's just up to us to be able to control that. Even my kids who love being home are kind of like, when can I see Sydney again? When can I see Carson again? And it's horrible to be able to say, I don't know, because we just don't know. Carson and him are best friends, and his mom works at the hospital. Not smart to be around him, dude. So I hate the fact that it's like instilling fear in them, but I'm trying to show them the bigger picture. And a lot of times my kids come to me and say, Mom, it's going to be okay. I mean, like tonight I had to order pizza. I've cooked every freaking night since we have been home, and I just burnt out. And today was just one of those days where the day just got to me. And my kids were like, Mom, you just don't know how much we appreciate you even cooking for us. And I looked and thought, the normal life before the virus came, I didn't hardly cook that much. My kids are getting to see me in a position that they usually don't see me in, but they're loving it. So I know that I'm serving them that way. I was sewing masks for the hospital because one of my neighbors volunteered me because she knew I had a sewing machine. I'm like, I can't do that. And then once I started doing it and that talent came back, I was like, and that skill came back, I was like, wow, I'm still serving people. It did my heart good. So that's why it's so important to do something for your heart as well as, other people, because you have to stay sane. So we talked about different perspectives, and I'm kind of going to let, if Andrea and Sharon are ready, we talked about different things, and I'll go in and kind of back them up afterwards because I'm the one who did the training, but I shared it with them today, explaining, why it's so important for us to have those kind of perspectives. So if Andrea, do you want to start off by talking about a few things?
I don't want to start yet. I can't start yet.
Unmuted.
Can you hear me?
No, you're not. Hold on. Why aren't you unmuted?
It says I'm unmuted.
Andrea. Unmute. Okay, go ahead. No, wait.
Can you hear me?
Can't hear you. Hold on. You're good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I said I'm not ready yet.
Okay. All right, Sharon.
Jen, why don't you start it, Shannon? We'll just build off you right now.
All right.
I'm just going through.
Okay. That's fine. So we'll go into a couple of them, and then you guys just interject when you're ready, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. All right, so I did this thing on perspectives, and it's really important to keep your mind clean during this time and not have negativity. And so one of the things that John Maxwell talked about was that there's a story about an Indian, what do you call it? Not a myth, but a fable kind of thing. You guys might know what I'm talking about. But it's an Indian grandfather. He's talking to his native grandson, and he's telling him that there are two wolves that live inside you. There's one wolf that is full of, faith, love, and joy. And then there's another wolf that is full of fear and evil and being scared all the time. And he's telling them that this fight is battling inside us at all times. It never stops. And so the little boy looks at his granddad and he says, well, which wolf wins? And then the granddad looks at him and says, it's the one you feed. The wolf that you feed will be the one that wins. And so when he was talking about this, he was talking about that you have to feed your faith during crisis. And you have to starve your fear. And so starving my fear was taking off the stuff on my feed that was bothering me. I know that a lot of people get the news and stuff. Another thing for me was to stop watching the news because I just didn't like it. It was bothering me. Feeding my faith was finding positive things for me. One thing is that whenever you feed your faith, then it's going to win. You don't feed the beast. But when you feed your faith, you move forward. When you feed your fear, you stay stuck. And it works that way in your business too. When you're scared to call people, when you're scared to reach out, this should be the best time in the whole world for anyone who's ever been scared to call someone to actually reach out to someone and check in and just see how they're freaking doing. Seriously. the humanity that is there and just our kindness would want us to do that. And that is something that we need to do, is check in on people. So that was one of the perspectives, was make sure that every thought that comes in your head, you capture it and you feed the faith part of it and not the fear part of it. Because there are a lot of fear mongers out there. There are a lot of people that are like, oh my gosh, can't do this, can't do that, can't do this. And it will scare you. But you have to concentrate on the faith of it. Okay. Another thing that he talked about was that, I love this, realize that motions influence emotions, meaning that emotions you can't control, but emotions you can. So you guys have heard me talk about a million times that when you're frustrated and you're confused, you need to move. You just need to move, do some kind of action that will help you. So he gave this this example, which I love. Normally, if someone feels sad, they will cry, right? But he said, change it. Change it during a crisis. Change it to, if I feel sad or depressed, I will sing. If I feel, if I feel depressed, I will sing. If I feel sad, I will laugh. If I feel fear, I will express faith. If I feel insignificant, I will remember my dreams. So everything is opposite than really what your body wants to do. Because when you're scared, you want to stay stuck. You don't want to move. But if you are scared and you actually move, that is where you're going to overcome things. And that is what you can control. You have to figure out the small things you can control. Because for me, I'm telling you, I told you I'm not a control freak, but when I realized there were little things I couldn't control, when somebody told me that in one state that if somebody did a porch drop, they got a $5,000 fine, I was like, what? Because we don't have that here. And I'm like, no. My whole thing has been around making these quarantine boxes and getting them to everybody and just dropping them on their porch. But I can't find that backed up anywhere in our state or anywhere. So I don't know what they were talking about, but it scared me. So when I went back and did the research and realized it didn't apply to me. Another thing that's very important to know during this time, and you guys interject when you want to, because I can just keep going.
You're doing amazing.
Oh, thanks. As leaders, we have a responsibility. As leaders, we sacrifice ourselves for our people. As leaders, our responsibility is to define what reality is for you guys. And reality right now sucks. Reality is not fun. But what we have to do is educate you through this and let you know we believe in you and that we're in it too and we're doing it. And that's why we're doing all these fun ideas and challenges for you to be able to use social media, for you to finally go live, for you to go in your Instagram stories or your Facebook stories or your Snapchats or your TikToks. One of my friends did a bunch of TikToks. Have you guys seen it? It's so cute. They took the counter clean and they were spraying their stove and it was like, choo, 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 and it went to like music. And people were wanting to order counter cleans just because she made a fun video.
I have to learn how to do that TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to do it either. Andy's always on it. But you got to be creative during this time. And so as leaders, we have a huge responsibility to you guys. So I can't go in there and just crawl up in the bed and freak out. Now, it is okay not to be okay. You just can't stay that way. So I gave myself permission to feel scared and fearful, but then also to know I can control how I feel. Can't control how I feel. I can control the emotion of what's going to come from that. And I decided to get up, show up, move, plug myself into church. And it was perfect timing because my church had done something called midweek motivation exactly whenever I was finally trying to show up for the day. And I was like, okay, Shannon, do not look at that person's Facebook page again and block them. And so I sent them a message and I was like, I love you, but I can't watch what you're putting out there because it's hurting me. It's messing up my psyche. And I know that you full-heartedly believe in what you're saying, but if you just happen to see that you don't see me anymore, it's because I've snoozed you for 30 days. I let them know. And one girl was like, well, I don't need you as a friend anyway. And the other girl was like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to put that out there. I need to look and see what I'm posting because all I'm doing is just reposting what I'm seeing. And I didn't realize it was affecting people out there. So you just got to take care of you in your own space. You got to learn how to master your own emotions and turn those emotions into positive actions. Okay. All right. So the next thing is, go ahead.
Shannon, can I
Yep.
say something quick? Because
Yeah, go ahead.
You said something and it made me think of how when you sent these to us earlier, how I looked into realize that your emotions influence other people's emotions. And you said when when you were looking at theirs, it made you feel a certain type of way. So you as a business owner, not just leaders, but we as leaders, especially because we have other people, if we're doing something, they're going to do it, or if we're not doing something, they're like, why should I do it? You're not doing it. But I feel like it's very important as a business owner, or even just as a person, that you need to keep your social medias positive, especially right now. That way you're going to attract positive energy. Or maybe somebody's having a really bad day, or there are people that are legit just terrified of the coronavirus, which, I mean, you should be, but maybe they need to see your positivity as opposed to another news story, or as opposed to something negative about it, or, oh, how can you be so happy right now because all this stuff's going on, people are dying. Yes, I know that. I'm empathetic. I feel other people. I feel what other people are feeling. But I just think that if you realize that if you're positive, then you're going to happen to make other people positive, or you're going to attract positive people. But if you're continuously negative about it and posting all of the negative things, then you're just feeding into the negativity. It's like misery loves company. If you're just putting the misery out there, then guess what? You're going to get back in return as misery. If people constantly post negative stuff on my Facebook, I unfriend them. Because, I'm empathetic. If people are feeling miserable all the time or sad all the time, then I'm going to feel that way. And I can't feel that way because it's going to set off my anxiety. It's going to set off my depression. And I'm just going to go down that black hole. So I can't do that. But I think it's very important to know that your emotions of how you're feeling about everyday life, and especially about the crisis that's happening right now, it's going to affect how other people are also feeling about it. I'm not saying don't be educated on it and don't be worried about it, because you should be, but still try to put the positive out there as opposed to more negative, if that makes sense.
Andrea,
What?
I think you're right, spot on, but I post negative once in a while, and if any of y'all block me, I'm going to come find you.
The only thing you post is political stuff, but that don't bother me because I ain't political.
But you're exactly right about being positive.
Well, I have a Pampered Chef rep that I always get stuff from. And I broke one of my stoneware because we've been cooking so much in the kitchen. I broke it. And so I went to her page just to send her a message, and it was full of how we're going to die. And a death clock, and I mean, just
what?
Yeah, just crazy stuff, And I'm looking through her post, and I'm like, I don't want to buy from this chick. I don't want to buy from her. And so I immediately messaged another one of my friends and said, hey, you got a Pampered Chef rep? And she's like, yeah. And I messaged her, and I ordered my stoneware, and I thought, wow, I am practicing what we preach here. You know what I mean? I went to her page. It made me feel a certain type of way. I didn't want to support it, so I found someone new. Yeah. And I believe in loyalty, but if you're going to show up on a page scaring the crap out of people, and just telling about, we're going to die anyway, so here, do your death clock. And I mean, just all this stuff, it made me feel like anxiety. And I was like, okay, well, snooze you. And got a new rep right now.
See, the best thing is, because I'm torn, because the snooze button is great. If you snooze somebody, can they still see you?
Yeah, they can still see you.
Okay, so that is a great, because I'm torn, because I don't want to see their negativity, but I feel like they need to see my positivity more than anybody.
Absolutely.
Right. Good. They can see you. You can't see them. And if you block them, though, you can't see each other.
Right.
How do you snooze them?
There's a little thing beside their post, and it says snooze for 30 days.
Oh.
And it's just like I said, I have to really pray about how did that post make me feel. I mean, it's a choice for me to go to their page, yes. But I went to her page, and now I know because I went to her page, Facebook's going to bring her page up all the time because I started an algorithm by going to follow her. So if you notice that, if you go to somebody's page and then all of a sudden you start seeing all their stuff, it's because you went there. And Facebook didn't just direct you. But that goes into like Facebook algorithms. But anyway, but yes, you're right, Andrea, 100%. Another thing that leads me to another perspective, and I'll write down all these perspectives for you guys if you want to on the page, but or I can just tell you guys can write them down, and we're jumping all around. But another one was develop a positive life stance. So it's not a positive attitude, it's a life stance. It's something that in August or September, when this is over and people are going to start buying for Christmas, they're going to be like, you know what? Andrea was positive from January till August. She has such a positive life stance in her life that I want that kind of, feeling in my life. Instead of just, okay, well, I'm a negative person. I'm going to be positive now, but as soon as it's over, I'm going to go back to negative. You see what I'm saying? So it's important for us to develop that positive life stance. And he used an example of going to see where Nelson Mandela congregated with all these men to meet and come up with this big plan. And when he went to where they actually went to meet, it was a place where I can't remember the whole story, but it was a place where everybody would go to the bathroom, and because the people where he was, they would not give him a room that was clean. They would just only give him like nasty areas. So they gave him this room where everybody went to the bathroom, and it smelled to high heaven and everything was really bad, but they still planned things out in a positive way. So he said that when he went there to visit where all of that occurred, he still could see this man staying in a positive life stance, even though there was quote unquote shit all around him. Because that's just how we have to be. We've got it all around us right now, but we have to choose to be that light in other people's lives. And just a girl messaged me today, just a customer of mine, and it was like right before this video, and she was like, I'm having a really, really hard time about it. She was like, you've always posted little things on your page lately, and I didn't see anything today, but I saw something about a cat. And so she was asking me about the cat that I found. And then we just started having talk, and I actually shared one of these perspectives with her, and she was like, I knew I was supposed to reach out for you for a reason. And I was like, well, that made me feel really good, because it made me feel like I have learned something that I have been able to pass on, and it's a positive thing. And maybe it will pay off in the fall somehow, some way, but if it doesn't, I know I fed into her the way that God planned on me doing that today. So positive life stance is really important. Another thing that he said, and like I said, you guys interject when you want. Another thing he said is that there's always going to be some good and some bad. Also, the some good and some bad you won't be able to control, and it will find you. So you have to know there's always going to be good. There's always going to be bad. You're not targeted for bad. It's just life. Life happens. But in order to change it from bad to good or good to better, you have to move forward positively, whatever the word is, and make it that way. Because if you concentrate on it, you'll take good to bad and bad to worse. So he said, always realize that good can become better. Bad can become good if you keep a positive mindset. But if you don't, then it can go the other way. And you're either going to move forward or backward from this crisis. But I promise you, you will not be the same. You will not be the same. And I was talking about the other day, and maybe we talked about it last week, I can't remember, but I told you how my grandmother was talking about whenever she went through the depression and the milk was so high. And here we are in the 90s, and she's coming to visit me, and I'm letting my friend use my milk. And she's like, why are you letting her use your milk? Do you know how much milk is? I'm like, grandmother, it's just milk. It's no big deal. And she was like, oh my gosh, you have no idea how priceless milk is. Well, see, she never changed. She realized that was something she couldn't get. That was something that, people had to stand in line for bread, milk, and things like that. So therefore, it was a privilege for her, and she never changed. So we are never going to change from this. We are going to change from this, but it won't ever be the same, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. So the next thing that he said was that there's always an answer. There's always an answer. There will be a cure. There will be an answer. We just have to wait it out. There's always an answer. The world has gone through so many crises that many things have come from that. Many lessons have come from that. People have become stronger from them. There's going to be a big change from this, and we're going to believe that it's going to be for the better. You know, schools are doing things online they never knew they could do. Teachers are teaching in Zooms that they never even knew. I was talking to one of the teachers. She's like, I don't even know how to use Zoom. I'm like, I've been using Zoom for years of my business. Here, you can use my account for a little bit until the school got it. People are getting their eyes opened up to different ways that they're going to be able to do things in the future. So I see it as a positive thing as far as us being able to still connect, but not having the hand holding, even though it's so good to have those hugs from you guys. Because let me tell you, as soon as this thing's over, I'm going to be like tackling y'all and getting some hugs from y'all because I am missing that because I am a hug person. He also said that adversity, and like I said, just jump in. Adversity, allow adversity to discover who you really are. So during a crisis is whenever you see who someone really is. You've heard that before. Whenever people go through things, sometimes you can see who your true friends are. But during adversity, you can see the people who are still giving, who still have a heart, who still want to make a difference, who choose to be positive. And then you see those who are not. And so he said, let it discover who you really are. And on the online steps today, she talked about how you need to identify the problem, then you come up with the solution. And you need to identify in a way of what you can control, right? We can't control so many things. So we need to identify what we can control. We can control how our house smells. We can control our laundry right now. Some people don't want to go to the grocery store to get laundry. They can control ordering it online and getting it put on their porch. And I'll put that on there again because I can't tell you as well as Brian and Allison did today. It was amazing how to change your script and how to, and it's not even a script, it's your heart. How to really serve people by finding solutions to the problem instead of being salesy. Because we're all in here together. And you really just talk about that in the very beginning. Hey, you know what? I know this is horrible. I know you probably don't want to go to the grocery store. But let me show you that you can get this delivered straight to you. I know you love our laundry products, or I know you love our cleaning product, or whatever. But I will tag that because that is something that we can control. There are little things that people need to be able to control, which moves me to the lipstick effect. Back in the Depression, I think it was in the Depression. I might get my history wrong. But the Depression, it was a big deal for women to buy lipstick and put it on because there were so many bad things that were going on. They still felt in control of their life when they would get up and they would put lipstick on. Just like getting up for the day to get ready. I am super happy in my yoga pants and my t-shirt all day long because I love what I do. I love it. I stay home. If I get to dress up, I dress up in different things. But there are some people who need to get up, get dressed, and get out of the house in order to feel control. So those people still need to get up, get dressed as if they're leaving the house, but have that mindset. Yes. Oh, I thought somebody said something. But have that mindset of the things you can control still. Those women who, if you look it up, it's really powerful about how they took their lipstick and they got some really bright colors and beautiful colors and put them on their lips because it made them feel powerful. It made them and want to empower others. It made them know this is not going to last forever, but I'm in control today. And that is something that we need to know, is that there are still things we can control. And the things that aren't in our control, we have to give it to God because we can't control it. We can't worry about it. We can't be fearful of it because it does nothing except create anxiety. Okay. The next thing he talked about was today matters. And what was really cool about this was that he has a poem, and I can post this on our page too, and I couldn't find it in time for our call tonight. but it said, just for today, I will be happy. Just for today, I will do, he has like a whole list of things. So you have to really put it around your life. Like, just for today, I will do this. Just for today, I will do this. Like if you had that one day. And then at the very end, all those things that were compiled, it was like, because one day, all of these things compiled is going to change someone else's life. And he talks about just taking today and preparing for tomorrow. Because there should be two things that you're doing today. Every day that is a today. You should either be preparing for tomorrow or either reflecting off of what you learned from yesterday and how to be better. Because so many of us start preparing for tomorrow, but we're also repairing yesterday instead of reflecting on yesterday. And that spoke to me in so many ways about, like, if I'm trying to repair something, I'm trying to fix it, I'm trying to control it. And if I can't fix it and control it, it's going to drive me crazy. But if I can accept it and know, I can be better tomorrow and I can prepare from what I learned and what I reflected on, then that's going to help me. Okay. The next thing he talked about was, and this is kind of going into what I just said, but he said reflect instead of reenact. And it said the same actions that you do over and over and over, expecting different results, is insanity, right? So the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Well, you got to look at your actions and realize if you're getting those same results, they're just reactions of how your body is reacting to those feelings. So we're going back to what you can control and what you can't control. So if you're like, dang, every time this happens, I feel this way, because you are reacting. So quit reenacting what you already are feeling and instead reflect on it, capture it, think, last time I felt this way, this happened. But this time I feel this way, this is going to happen. And really challenge yourself. Do you remember the Seinfeld episode? I used to be a big Seinfeld freak. But there was a Seinfeld episode where George was so predictable that he decided that everything he said yes to, he was going to say no to that day. Or everything he said no to, he was going to say yes to that day. Do you guys remember that? And it was hilarious because he realized the things that he wasn't saying yes to, that he would always say no to, were actually opportunities that he would have missed. And so this is the same kind of thing, is don't just do the same old, same old. If you start getting fearful, call a friend and speak some positivity in their life, because I promise you, when you practice what you preach and when you start teaching what you learn, it makes a huge difference, because you get to hear it all over again and you get to feel good all over again. And those people can actually feel what you are feeling. Okay. He said that the next thing, and this is really cool. I used to think that my husband was like the craziest person in the world until I understood mindset and Scentsy and how, we have to really take care of ourselves. I used to see it as a selfish act instead of a selfless act. And he always talks to himself. And I used to go, dude, you're talking to yourself again. You're talking to yourself again. Oh my gosh, you're going to be the crazy old man that sits over in the corner with your britches pulled up high, complaining about the government, talking to yourself. I mean, I used to say that to him all the time. But then I learned something, and I heard it yesterday again, and it was like, the most important person you can listen to every day is yourself, and what you actually say to yourself. And that 95% of your emotions are determined on how you talk to yourself. And when I heard this, I was just like, oh my gosh, Steve is so not crazy. I mean, he probably keeps himself sane by talking to himself. And I realized I did that too, as I understood mindset, because I would realize a feeling I was feeling. And I'd be like, okay, Shannon, this is how you feel. What's going on with this? This doesn't feel right. This reminds you of this. And it really helped me, because I was able to be my best friend. I was able to calm myself down. I was able to help myself. And he said, by doing that, you are able to direct yourself into a positive way. If you just sit there and just think about it and there is no action, or if you sit there and really focus on those negative thoughts or those things that scare you, then it's not going to cause you to move. It's going to cause you to be stuck. That's why there's affirmations everywhere. Like if you walk in my bathroom, I had Post-its everywhere reminding me of things, because, and I have to say them out loud, because hearing us say it, you guys have always heard that when you're studying in school, if you write down the notes and then if you write them down again, they stick in your head. Well, it's the same way with affirmations. It's the same way with bringing positivity into your life. If you speak it out loud, just like it says, you know, we speak life over people. Speak it out loud. Let your body hear yourself saying it, because your mind will believe what it hears. It's like, if you say you can't do it, you won't be able to do it. But if you say you can do it, you will do it. You will find a way, because that is what your mind is going to focus on. So I love that reminder, because I got to tell Steve he wasn't crazy after all. And
You know, Shane, that's funny because I know a lot of you might feel the same way, but I get panic attacks, like anxiety, not really anxiety because there's a difference, but panic attacks. And it is so important that you feed your mind positive things. I have to talk myself out of them. So I have to tell myself positive things. I mean, I have to talk out loud to calm myself down, to get myself out of these panic attacks. And guys, I can't, if you never haven't had a panic attack before, I hope you never do, but it's so hard to describe it. You actually think you're dying. But if you talk yourself through it and you talk out loud, like Shannon's saying, and you feed your mind positive things like, okay, this happened before. What can I do? Focus on, think about something else. It really will bring you out of it.
I love that. I think something that we all have in common, I know Angie and you and I have in common. I can't speak for Katie and Annette and all the others, but I've had panic attacks before too. And I did the things where you put the rubber band on your wrist and you pop it just to, you know.
Oh, that's a good one.
Give your brain like a jolt, you
A
know,
wake
like,
up.
okay,
Yeah.
I understand I'm in a panic. I got to do something. And that reminds me to move. That reminds me to be positive, because I get real nauseous whenever I get panicky. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. I want to lay down. I want to escape. I start to withdraw. And so when I start feeling that way, I don't have it on, but I had it on yesterday. It's just a regular hairband. I'll just start popping it. And I learned that technique whenever I had that accident on the plane years and years ago. Whenever I would start thinking about something that would give me anxiety, she'd say, pop it, and it'll bring you right back every single time.
Oh, I got to
And
try
so,
that.
yeah, it helps. It helps a lot. I had it on yesterday just because I was having to talk to my sister, and she was just really spiraling about some things, and I was just like, okay, it is okay. But yeah,
so
definitely.
it is important. It is so important to, you know, talk and feed your mind positive thoughts. It's very important. You're right.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that he said was that if you need to be able to redirect yourself, if you need to be able to refocus, look at what you say before you go to bed that says, I should have done this today. And then tomorrow start with those I shoulds. So if you go to bed tonight and you're like, you know what, I shouldn't have done this, or I should have done this, or whatever it is, and you write them down, the next morning, go to that I should list and conquer it, or it will keep your brain completely bogged down about different things. Like the other day, I was like, I should have gone to get some bread. I don't eat bread, but my kids eat bread. I should have done it. And the next morning, I woke up and I was like, I went straight into the grocery store and went and got bread, because it was like an I should thing, even though I know that's not really business related, but it was something to clear my brain that I knew I took care of, because I didn't want to go to bed the next night and go, oh, I forgot to get the bread again. Now I'm not able to make sandwiches. So that was different. And being able to take your I shoulds and turn them into I dids are really good for you. So I have a little list in the kitchen of all my little moments. Like if I have a, remember a long time ago, I told you what Heidi told us by putting a Post-it note on your office so that you don't always walk in your office and just get stuck doing nothing. Put a Post-it note on the door and then write down anything that you know you need to do in that office. And then whenever it's your office time, take that Post-it note in there with you and then do those things, and only stay in there to do those things and then come back out. It's the same kind of thing I have in the kitchen. I have a little notepad. Every time I think of something, I write it down. But the I shoulds, when I turn it into an I did and get that check mark beside it, it gives me some kind of satisfaction that I have controlled something again. Because right now we're really focusing on the things we can control. And it's those little things like making our bed, you know, feeding our pets, just the little things that are helping us be able to get through this.
And
Okay.
Shannon, that comes down again to having a list. Like I have a list right here of stuff that I have to do all day. And if I don't get to something,
to get through this.
huh? Oh,
It was a thing. Go ahead.
so when I write down my list of the things that I need to get done during the day, at the end of the night, if I didn't do those things, I know that the next day, those are going to be at the top of my list because those were the to-do things they needed to get done. And I didn't get them done that day, so they have to get done the next morning. So it's always good to have a list. So, yeah.
You know, another good thing to do is have Alexa.
I have that too.
Because I tell Alexa everything, and when I wake up in the morning, because I forget really easy, and I have bad about losing a list. I make a list and it's gone in 2 seconds. I don't know where it is. The dog ate it, and I don't have a dog. But I tell Alexa, and then I start my morning out with what I've got to do from what I didn't do yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's smart. On my phone, I have the reminder. So if I'm riding down the street and I see like the dentist's office, remind myself tomorrow at 10 a.m. to call the dentist. So I have like a lot of reminders that I'll put on my phone. I'll say, hey, Siri. And she'll be like, yeah. So, oh, she just tried to do a reminder when I said that. Crazy. So, gosh, I'm not doing a reminder right now. Okay. She put, I'm not doing a reminder.
Reminders cheaper than.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so the next thing he said was take action myself. No one can produce great things who is not thoroughly sincere with clearly oneself. Like you have to really understand where you are in your mindset, what is going on in order for you to take those actions. He said, does my reflection lead to an action? Most times when we reflect back on what we could have done better, there's an action that is assigned to it. Just like Scentsy teaches us with action plans. You know, we want this goal to happen. This is what we need to do. And these are the actions that need to happen. So something as small that we have come up with little things to help you during the day to know, wow, my directors really care about me. They care about my mind. They care about my emotional state. They care about, you know, my business. They care about my family. So we're going to have little things that we're going to post every single day for you guys just to do. And it's going to help you by keeping you in check. So a lot of times when we reflect, it's going to lead to actions. And it said, you know, reflecting can also help turn your life around. And he talked about another story where, and I'll have to post this too because his stories are so good. But he talked about a woman who walks down the street and there's a hole in the street and she falls in. And the next day she walks down the street, sees the hole, still falls in. And the next day she walks down the street, sees the hole, kind of walks around the hole, but still falls in. And he said it wasn't until like the 5th, 6th day, 7th day, she walks down the street, sees the hole, walks around the hole, but then finally, after reflecting, she walks down another street. So it was really interesting because when he's telling the story, you're thinking, why didn't she just walk around the hole? Why didn't she walk around the hole? It's because we are like zombies, like robots sometime with our actions. We just get up, we're in the routine, we just go. We look and we see it's almost 4 o'clock in the PM. Where did the day go? And we just were driven by our routine, right? So we have control of what we can do and when we can do it. We just have to realize that we can control those things. So when she was controlling walking down a different street, then she was avoiding all of the decisions that had to be made around that one thing about falling in the hole. So I thought that was really, really good. He also said that small pictures, look at the big picture. So the small picture is usually about you. The big picture is about others. We did in Scentsy at corporate, we did this activity, but we also did it in Canada. So those of you who went to Canada, you would know, where we gave out little pictures to each person. And there was a group of like 4 people, and one person may have a picture of a table with like a coffee mug and like a pencil. And then the next person would have like a picture of like zoomed out a little bit of the coffee and the pencil and maybe a sheet of paper and a window. And the next person would have it where you could actually see the table where the coffee mug and the pencil and the window, and then you could actually see somebody sitting there. And then the next person would have the whole picture of the whole family sitting there, and they're actually doing something together. But we had each person look at their picture and describe what was going on so that you could figure out the sequence of the event. So which one came first, right? And somebody would be like, well, I have a coffee mug on mine. And everybody else would be like, oh, I have a coffee mug on mine too. But there was one person that could see the big picture. No one else could see the big picture. They all saw a small picture. So it was all about perspective. It was all about, when you're making it all about you, you're missing the big picture that is out there for you. The big picture includes other people. The big picture is more about maturity of understanding other people are going through this too. It's not an immaturity of why me, turning myself into a victim and not a victor. When I talked to some people the other day, they were like messaging me, I need help, I don't have any food. And I'm like, well, you know that you live right across the street from Villa Verde. Villa Verde is giving out free food on these certain times and they have a table in the front where you can go and pick up a bag of food. Oh, well, I don't have a car. Okay, well, it's there. Your solution, your problem was that you had no food. I just gave you a solution. Now you're saying you don't have a car, but I will tell you, if you get hungry enough, you will find a way to go get that food. Mm-hmm. So she missed the big picture of what I was trying to tell her is that there are a lot of people out there. There's a lot of restaurants out there that are donating food and grocery stores and people that are donating things. They just have to find a way to get it. And if she's going to sit there and go, well, I don't have a car, it's not fair, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do that, she's being a victim. And I'm like, are you going to choose to be a victim or are you going to try and move? And she's not even like on our team or anything. She's just one of my customers who was looking for a handout and saying, I need some help. And I did give her some help. I gave her some advice. And I made her realize, you know, that she needed to look at the bigger picture. So that is something that if you find yourself tomorrow stuck, ask yourself, am I looking at the big picture? Or am I looking at the small picture right now?
I love that, Shannon.
The next thing and the last thing he wrote was adversity makes people stronger. He said, your willpower will become stronger.
I found this on the web.
She's still listening. Okay. Your willpower will be stronger after this. And there's a poem also that he had. He always has such great, it's John Maxwell. He always has such great insight. And I think I really resonate with him because he was a pastor for a church for many, many years before he went into leadership. And the devotion that I do almost every day, I've missed lately, on my daily leadership, I'm always using the devotional that he wrote for leaders when we pray over our businesses. But I just love him and I love the way he speaks. And I love the way that he really has a way of shining a light into my darkness whenever I have a bad time, and how I'm able to take what he says and share it with others. And there was a poem about making you stronger, and I can post that too. But he said, and listen to what he said. He's 73. He's had a heart attack before, and he's still going. And he's the one who writes tons and tons and tons and tons of books. I probably have so many of them, and they're some of the best books I've ever written. I mean, read, not written. And he said that, he goes, everybody always asks me, what's my best book? And he said, my best book is the next one that I'm going to write. Because I don't ever say, that was my best, this one wasn't too good, but maybe my next one will be better. He said, I always tell people, my best book is the next one that I'm going to write. Because he always makes everything better than it is, even if it's at its best. He always strives. So he said, my best lessons were birthed in bad times. People's skills were learned when I didn't know how to deal with difficult people. I learned how to listen better whenever everybody else told me I never listened to them. I learned how to lead when no one was following me. I learned how to forgive when I needed forgiveness. I learned how to ask questions when I ran out of the answers. I learned how to not take myself so seriously when I learned that others didn't take me as seriously either. And I learned how to take care of myself after I had my heart attack. And that just brought me chills, because that was him being real, being vulnerable, just like we are here for you guys today. We are not going to leave your side. We are here to help you. We are going to give you business advice. We are going to help you with your mindset. If you are scared, if you are fearful, and you need those coaching calls still, because I know my coaching calls kind of went on hold for a little while I was trying to figure this out. But I will be happy to coach anyone around your mindset, because I have become a master of my emotions whenever I realize I'm spiraling down. I know who I can talk to. I know where my tribe is. I know what I can listen to. I know how to turn it around. And one of the best things I read was, when I'm depressed, I sing. You can't sing really if you're depressed, unless you're just like missing somebody. Songs come from down deep. Those beautiful songs that people are putting all over Facebook, worshiping and doing all the things to entertain us, it's out of love. And so when I sing, even though I can't sing, it's out of love. And so when I feel that dark, deep place, I just start singing. And that's what worshiping's all about. And I feel like I learned so much from just listening to these perspectives that we need to have during a crisis, and being able to share it with you guys. And understand, your business is not going to be the same right now. Your life is not going to be the same right now. You will never go back to the same normal. There will be a new normal for you, but it's going to be better, because we are going to make it better. We're going to choose to be better and not bitter, and we're going to show up for you. So I want you guys to, Sharon, Andrea, if you guys want to add anything, because
No, you know what? We are all learning right now. We are learning what we can do in the future that is going to help us. And we are all in this together, and we have so much support amongst us all. And we are all here for each other. All of us coaches are here. I do coaching calls. I reach out to my team all the time, but I am here for any of you. Always reach out to us. And we are going to get through this, and you have to keep a positive mindset. You have to keep yourself out of the news, when you wake up in the morning, you have to have that to-do list. You have to have tasks to do. You have to keep your mind. You have to talk positive things and feed your mind positive things. You have to read devotionals, or maybe you don't read your devotionals, but things that that do help you, that you enjoy doing, you have to do those every day. Right now, it's like, it's crazy, and it is scary. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I freak myself out sometimes, but then I have to bring myself back to life and say, you know what? We're all gonna get through this. This is gonna end soon. And I reach out to Shannon, and I reach out to, whoever I need to reach out to. When I do coaching calls with my team, or even reach out to my team, that is helping me too. I'm doing that to help myself. I might not be saying, hey, I'm having a panic attack right now, but there's been times where I just reach out because I am in a panic, but I just need to talk positive things to feed myself positive stuff. So we're just all here for you. And there ain't nothing like this. I mean, this community that we have is amazing. So just know that we all love each other, and we're all here for each other.
Yeah. Andrew, do you want to share anything? I wish Annette was on here, because she always has.
I thought I seen her come on.
She's on here. She's on. I think she's on here by phone, but I don't know if she's going to talk to us. I know she was doing some things, but yeah, I agree with Sharon. Just, it's really a time where we need to stay positive. It's hard. I've worked very hard on being a positive person. It's taken a long time, but we need to stay positive, and a lot of people are going through it right now. And if you want to do a coaching call, but if you want to do it like this, but more privately, then all of us can get on with just you, and we can work through whatever you got going on.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it doesn't have to be business, it could be in your personal life. We've done that before, and it's been amazing. Those positive affirmations and doing all of the things that Shannon talked about tonight, about staying positive and doing all the good through the crisis, and like Shannon said, distancing yourself from the news. Stay informed. I'm not saying don't stay informed, but you don't have to watch it all the time. Wake up in the morning, go look in the mirror when you're brushing your teeth. Tell yourself how beautiful you are and how smart you are and how much stuff you're going to get done. I'm working on my foul mouth, by the way. And don't laugh, Sherry. And just do it. Keep yourself busy. I love painting. I love drawing. I do have a child here, so we're doing homeschooling. So I'm crazy busy from the time I wake up to, we go to bed. But I still make time to draw things and paint. And I actually made it halfway through a book. I had time to read half a book, so I'm excited. Just keep yourself busy. And if you don't have a hobby that you know that you like to do, then use that time to put it into your business.
Yep. That's awesome.
Make your business your new hobby.
Yeah.
But it's important, like you were saying, Shannon, it's important to reach out to people right now with a positive mindset. I mean, people are going to feed off of you. So we're all scared. We're all going through this. And it's, you reach out to people every day because they're feeling the same way you do. And we need the positiveness. You cannot reach out to somebody and say, yeah, this is terrible. I know we're going through this. I'm so scared. What are we going to do? The world's going to end or anything like that. You cannot, use a negative or you're going to it's just going to create a big bomb, So you have to reach out to people and serve them and be there for them. And it's going to help yourself by doing that.
Yep, sure is.
Shannon.
Well, yeah.
You messed up tonight.
How did I mess up?
A little while ago, you were talking about all the Facebook posts of people singing and where it was coming from their heart. And I posted a challenge. One of our team members actually got on there and sang a praise. You've already said you sing all the time. Hello.
I saw you singing, Sherry. I saw
No,
it.
I posted for everybody to go on there. It didn't matter what you sounded like and sing if you sing a praise. So Shannon, you messed up. You got to do it.
I saw your post, but
I can't sing. I cannot sing.
I didn't look at the
You're
challenge.
going to find earplugs if you hear me sing.
It's make a joyful
I'm right there with you,
voice to the
Shannon.
Lord. Other people get it. When you're talking about lifting other people, though, it does, whether you can sing or not.
Yeah.
Lip sync,
That's true.
does that work?
My
Sherry,
best
I
singing.
shared yours.
shower.
I shared your post.
Huh. All right.
All right,
Hey,
so everybody, tomorrow we'll see Shannon's singing video and everybody.
Amen.
I'll be lip syncing.
Gotta have fun, y'all.
Yeah.
All right. We love you guys. And next week we'll start back with our coaching as time permits. We just keep talking to figure out, what needs to be said. But we just figured mindset and perspective needed to be talked about tonight. So, okay. Love you guys.
Love y'all.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Night.